I'm back, mate.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Good to see ya.
Missed me?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, I bet. So yeah, mate, I'm back.
You are.
A lot more chilled out, actually. Needed a little bit. Well, I had a break last week anyway. Had my holiday booked. Don't have much holiday.
Good holiday? Enjoy it?
Very good holiday, very relaxing. Apart from
Good.
the children, would have been a lot more relaxing
Well.
without the children, but
Yeah.
unfortunately got to take them with me.
What have you got? You got sort of 15 more years before they can fend for themselves?
Nice, wasn't it? Just coming up for retirement.
Yep.
Buy me mobile home, mate.
Perfect.
Get rid of them, and off I go, innit?
Lovely.
But yeah, it was very nice, mate. And I had a few days off before that, partly under your instruction.
Yep. Did think it would be a
Disappear
wise
and
idea.
chill out, mate. You've done me proud there, looking after the place,
all good,
managing the place.
It's all good. All went smooth.
But yeah, so it's all good, mate. You've been cracking right on, haven't you?
Yeah.
Getting on nicely. What we got there? The old 2.3. What I was
Yes.
calling the RS, which isn't the RS,
No,
is
it's
it?
an ST apparently.
ST.
So the customer has got in contact with me and let me know what the torque settings are for the mains.
Oh,
So
that's
I've been
good
able
then.
to talk them up.
I did see in the comments a few suggestions
Yeah, a
of
few
what it
suggestions, but I don't know. I think they were different from what the customer's given me. But
Right.
yeah, so I've talked them up anyway. All felt good, felt
Yeah.
right. So happy
So
with
this
that.
isn't really the same as the RS then. It's a
I
slightly
don't
different
know.
design,
I
mate.
think
Is it?
it's different. They got loads of different engine codes for a load of very similar engines. I think.
Yeah, this is the
So-
trouble, isn't it?
So yeah, so I've got that all talked up.
Nice.
I will.
Does it move?
Yes, it moves. It all
Crank
turns
moves.
lovely.
Oh, that's good.
I do need to plastic
Always a
gauge
bonus.
it, but yeah, I just wanted to try that torque setting he gave me and make sure it all felt all right going up.
I'm wondering whether these are the same as like the RS, where you've got to do the mod on the head gasket before you fit it.
All
With a
right.
bit of gooey round the oil hole.
I
apparently.
think you probably do because when I took it off, there was a bit of gooey.
Oh, was
or
there?
when I think the customer took the head off, but under the gasket there was a bit of
Ah.
like a gooey patch. So
Right.
bit of silicone.
So we shall get the proper destructions for that and
Yes,
make
we
sure
shall.
we gooey that
That was a
properly.
proper bulletin from Ford, wasn't it?
It was. Well, it was a bit of bulletin they've added into the
Yeah.
destructions, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I've also checked all the valve clearances this morning.
all good.
Yes, they are slap bang in the middle all the way across, so
Perfect.
absolutely perfect.
Lovely job. Well, so well done on that, mate. Because we did promise the customer we'd get this done for
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, we're
very
trying
beginning
to
of
crack right
December.
on with that. So,
This
now,
this guy here, he's the one that's come along to a few of our
Yeah,
track
we-
days in it. So
yeah,
we've
he's come up to track days.
given him a bit of special treatment. Bless him. He's
Yeah.
bought me 3 or 4 coffees, which I've left.
Didn't drink.
But no, he's a really nice chap.
Yeah, he
so
is.
we'll just get this one done. I think he had it somewhere else before, and whether they were playing him up a bit, but
Right.
usual story, innit, mate?
Yeah. So the next step is got to fit that balance shaft unit.
Oh, you'll see, that's a bit of a setup there. Looks
Yeah.
impressive.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
it's
know
a
what
nice,
you're doing.
Compact little unit. It runs off of this gear on the crank.
Okay, is that timed?
It is. So the crank, you time it to bang on TDC. So I've done that with the DTI.
Yeah.
So got that on TDC, and then I will double check the instructions. But I gathered that there's these 2 holes on the back of it face upwards.
In about the same amount, or dead up?
No, dead up. So what I've got here is I've set this little bar up in the end of one of them because they obviously move together.
Yeah.
I've got the DTI,
Oh, look at
and I
that,
can
mate.
get it
Proper job, innit?
bang on in the middle.
I'm in it, mate.
So yeah, so
Well
I can
done.
set that up properly, and then I can drop that on,
Well, that's good.
bolt it up. You also have to check the backlash on the gears, but
Oh,
this
okay.
hasn't done a lot of work, as it. So I imagine it's going to be okay.
I was going to say, yeah. What would you do about the backlash?
I don't know, but you can. I know you can shim on the bottom here where it bolts to the block. There's shims, so I wonder if you have to.
Oh,
shim it up
I
a
see.
bit.
You mean the the meshing between that unit and this.
Yeah, I think
I
so.
would have thought, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't fully looked through the instructions for it
Yeah,
yet.
we'll have a
but
look at that.
But yeah, I've got a general gist
You don't
of
want it, but you basically you don't want it binding. You need a bit of backlash because you don't want it binding up
I think so, yeah. I think
and wearing the bloody gears out, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good then, mate. So
Yeah,
this
so-
one's well on its way.
Yeah, I can crack on and get that on.
Your cup of
Subaru.
tea, innit? But you're dying to get on with that.
Yeah, I need to put that out the way, really, because I keep looking at it and I just want to do it.
Yeah. Have we got the long... we ordered a long stud and nut kit for this?
Yeah, it's in at Mar.
Oh, is it?
And they're going to send it
I've got to order...
soon.
I see on your... I watched your video, mate. Thank you very much for doing them.
That's
Very
all right,
impressive.
No worries.
I've got to order the big end bolts, haven't I, for that?
Yeah.
ARPs.
Yeah.
And a couple of other bits, I think.
I think they're on. I think I've found them on Burton.
Nice. I'll get them ordered tomorrow.
Get them on there.
But today I've come back all enthusiastic. I did a bit of paperwork until about 11.
Yeah.
Got that up to date. And then I've cracked on with the RS500, stripping it.
Yeah.
Because this one's been sitting over there for a while. So I did ring the owner up today and say, I'm sorry about that. Now I'm a lot more motivated and
Yep.
enthusiastic. I'm back and I'm on it, mate. So I'll just run you through this. It's an RS500 Sierra, which
Yep.
we all know now are very valuable,
Pricey.
very pricey. So a little bit of history on this car. I spoke to the customer, the owner of it, and said, do you mind me doing a video on it and what we find? He said, no, not at all. Just don't put the engine numbers in, which is absolutely fair enough. So we won't be doing that. But basically, this car is a car that he's bought that's been totally restored. So the car's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And the engine, as he's got photographic evidence, etc., and documented of the engine being done in 2017, apparently. So first overall look, block looks a bit grubby.
Not the worst we've seen.
It's not the worst we've seen, but it's not
for
what I would.
2017.
Yeah, not what I would say is out. I mean, I don't know how much he uses it, whether he uses it in all weathers or what, but that looks a bit weathered to me. So, what have we found, mate? Well, first thing you can see, or I noticed while the head was still on, was the old style nuts for these 6 long studs. So these are the ones that we obviously I've said in previous videos where they're not quite long enough, especially on the 2 core plug ones. There's a lug in the base of the block that can pull out. In fact, I'm not sure whether... So these 2 studs here are the ones that we know that are not long enough with this style of stud.
Yeah.
So down in the base of the block there is a lug, which, yes, is still on the 205 RS500 block, because the 205 RS500 block is not the same as the 205 Transit block. It's a thicker wall, again, than the 200. So this is the one that's very expensive, very rare, specific to the RS500. One of the ways you can tell is the small core plugs as opposed to the bigger core plugs.
Tiny little core plugs, aren't they?
Yeah. So one thing we'll be doing is, these are fairly new studs, because this car has only done about 40,000 miles from new, the whole thing. Yeah. So it's obviously been a part to do the studs, but we will be replacing at least these 2 with the longer ones from Julian Godfrey's, and we will also be replacing all of the nuts and washers to the modern ones that we can get a socket on.
Yes.
So that's the first thing. Secondly, the bores measure standard. It's got original pistons. We've had the crank out. The crank's at standard. The bearings are all standard on the mains and the big ends, but they are aftermarket bearings. So it has had bearings. Weirdly though, this is one of those engines that is been done, and they've done it obviously for long stud in it, whether it's been tuned in the past, but they haven't entirely done it properly, mate. But it's an all too familiar tale, isn't it, with these?
Do hear it a lot.
You do. Now, on closer inspection, we thought it's very odd that it's on a standard bore. Usually they're bored, but you've had a look, along with myself, and it has got liners in it.
Straight liners.
Straight liners, a very thin straight liner.
Yeah, they are quite thin.
One of them looks like there's got a bigger gap than the rest down the bottom. So they've done the usual sort of 3mm step down the bottom, and then they push the liner down to the step.
Maybe it looks like they've not pushed it down all the way.
Yeah, and as I say, it's very, very thin. It's been running lean, this thing, because it's nasty at the bottom of the bore, and the skirts of the pistons are not very great.
Yeah, and it's really chewed up a couple of the bores, isn't it, at the bottom?
Yeah. So it's going to have to be bored, but I spoke to the customer again, and I've said, look, it's got these thin liners in. I'm not happy with them. And he said, don't mess around, get them out, and put the top hat ductile iron liners in. So that's what we're going to be doing. Very strangely, though, what I did find is the piston protrusion is about 1.8 mil.
70 odd thou.
70 odd thou, where usually it's about 20, if that. So it's been, the block's been decked getting on 1.5 mil, but why, I don't know.
It's very odd.
It's a bit weird, really. I don't understand why you'd have to.
Any signs of like bad, like corrosion or
No,
like, you know, it doesn't seem like there's a reason
not really.
to have had to do that.
And they've definitely they've decked the block before they've done the studs, because otherwise these seal holders would be protruding above the top of the block. So why they've decked it, I don't know. The only reason I can think of is it's had the old sort of Cooper's rings been machined into the block, which means it had been done before in the past.
But then how deep are they normally in? 30 thou, isn't it, normally? Those rings?
They're usually in about just over 0.5 mil. So I normally have to take about 25 thou off the block to get them out. So why they've took nearly 1.5 mil off it, I do not know.
It's very weird.
But the only thing we can do with that is we obviously want to get the correct jut out of the pistons, so we're going to have to machine the top of the pistons, which we do anyway.
Yeah, we do.
Just more than we would normally have to do it. We're going to put our own pockets in there, obviously replace them studs, put the ductile iron liners in. We're going to go for the Quay Fernier pulleys, because obviously being decked that much, it's going to knock the timing out.
Yep.
Head, fortunately, looks like it's had one skim. So it's pretty much a standard thickness head. All the valves look okay. It's obviously been running rich, been running lean on boost probably. That's what the damage of the piston's been. But yeah, I would say the reason they've decked that is to probably maybe get rid of the rings. I mean, if they would have put a top hat liner in this and it did have those ring grooves, we both know that the liner top hat gets rid of that groove, so you don't have to deck the block that much. So I don't know, mate. That's my theory. But I would say that this thing has definitely been built probably at least twice. So if he's saying it's you know, a documented one rebuild in 17, and then I don't know, something don't add up really. But I've got the go ahead off him to sort of do whatever we need to do. It's got stock rods in it, so we shall go through the head, obviously do the valves, seats, guides and all that if we have to, which we will. New hydraulics, standard cams.
So he's going to stick with the original rods and...
yeah, we'll stick with all that, mate. It's all original 500 stuff in it. You don't want to start messing. He's going to be tuning it a little bit, but only really to bring it into modern day sort of, I don't know, power, if you like, just to make it feel like a sort of half-pokey modern car. There's the crank here, just washing a few bits for 2 or 3 engines. Here's the pistons. You can see the skirt of that looks fairly not very great. That something's going on there,
especially around the bottom.
Yeah, I don't quite know what that's. A bit weird, that is.
Yeah,
that looks a little bit more like debris that's done that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Or even maybe a bit of like slap sort of action, because it's right at the bottom, isn't it?
The trouble is, we don't know what them liners are doing. Now, strangely, you can actually see on these 2 pistons, you've got pit in here, but you can see on these, look, where it's been hitting the head. So they're using, that's another thing, they're protruding 1.8 mil, but he's only using a 2 mil gasket, which is giving you about 8 thou, it's like the equivalent of an 8 thou thick stock gasket. Ain't enough, is it?
No.
So that's going to be one reason why it's not running very good. But what he did say is, one thing is it's one of the reasons for doing it was it's giving major head gasket symptoms, where it's pouring water out the exhaust. So the first thing we're going to be doing is pressure testing the head, pressure test the block once I've got those liners out, see if we've got any cracks anywhere. This thing has been sort of mildly ported, but it's been ported enough. What they used to do was sort of port them a bit wrong, really. It's gone a bit thin down here, and you can see where it's broke a chunk off that. So we can weld that up, and we're going to be welding around the back here to brace this area, because this is where it goes very thin when they've titivated it.
So you're going to do that on just the one that's broke?
Do it on all of them.
On all of them, yeah.
We'll do it on all of them just to give some extra brace in there, and then obviously we'll take the studs out and face that face there.
Yeah.
And then that should be good to go. We've done it before. It's been absolutely fine.
They're quite smart, aren't they, the Cossies, because the inlet face matches the downward angle of the exhaust face, so you can set them up like so parallel straight away.
Going straight down.
Yeah. So it's not too much mucking around.
No, that's it. Yeah, it's quite it's quite easy to set up in that respect, which is good, mate. So all straightforward stuff. Let's say the crank's salvageable. We know they're quite expensive now.
Yep.
And that's it. That's it, really. But yeah, the pistons look horrid. Awful. I don't know what's going on with them.
Oh, yeah.
But he's scoring all over them. Look at
nice.
That looks like crap to me. It looks like debris.
It does, yeah. It's got really catchy, isn't it? Really rough. It's not just like scored.
It's almost. Do you know what that almost looks like? And I don't like to say it, but it almost looks like they've put the pistons halfway down the bore and machined the bloody block with the pistons still in.
Maybe.
And a load of crap's gone down the side of it.
Down the side. You got those nice self-made pockets, are they?
Yeah.
Engine's done them.
Self-made pockets as well. Now that's another thing. We all know that the standard Cosy pistons have a tendency, especially when you skim the head, of the valves touching the pistons. If you get a bit of valve bounce, but these look like they've touched twice. So these have touched firstly on the small bits, I would say originally, and then once the block's been skimmed, they've touched good and proper.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah, you can see almost like the distance between the two touches, how much more has been took off.
Exactly, yeah, no good at all that, mate.
No.
So we'll be putting our pockets in there, but I don't know. It's all a bit sus, isn't it?
Mm. You can see on there where they've been dapping away as well.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
Or? No, it's not
really.
Not indented them.
The Honda, very quickly before we go, we've given this a lick of the old silver. We've obviously blasted this block anyway, but we give it a bit of silver, and the silver just protects the aluminium from going corrody again, doesn't it? And it looks nice and shiny. So you've kindly taught that up while I was away.
Yes, I
did.
The
mains. Yep. So that bottom end now is all ready to go. We haven't got to do anything else.
No, we've got to put the head together.
Got to put the head together. We've managed to get some gaskets.
We popping a rear seal in, or is he gonna?
Got a rear seal.
On its way. Yeah, on its way.
Should be here tomorrow.
Cool.
And that'll be the Honda gone.
Lovely.
So it's all good news, mate. I'm back.
Yeah.
You're a little less stressed now this week. Left you in the crap there, didn't I?
Oh, it's all right, mate.
Never mind.
Got to learn how to do it, haven't I?
Next video, I'm going to be going on about this, because this is getting a joke. This is the part of the brake kit for the E30 BMW. I'll tell you about that on Wednesday. But that's it, mate. We'll leave it there. Until Wednesday's video. Thanks for watching. Back on schedule with the videos now.
Yep.
Have a great evening. Cheers.